I think what is very instructive is to find the right balance between, on one hand, sufficient autonomy and discretion of local government to make their own decision making. On the other hand, also to ensure accountability. That balance is a challenge around the world. How much autonomy you give local governments vis-a-vis the accountability, ensuring that national targets are also achieved. So to find the right balance is very important. Some of the challenges from the workshop I noted compared to other places is that in India there are so many different schemes which are often competing, special schemes, different grant systems, and there needs to be a convergence, a harmonization across the schemes. So that was one of the areas I noticed which was a challenge with the Indian system. Also monitoring systems, there are many MIS systems which are often competing. Central government is issuing, union government is issuing systems. At the state level they develop their own system, but how to harmonize, it can be a challenge. So the transaction cost can be quite high if you don't address that. Then the last thing I think is that there's a lot of systems and procedures put in place, but the amount of money that the local governments have per capita, if I compare with your neighboring countries like Indonesia and Bhutan, even Bhutan, Nepal, is lower per capita. So I'm quite impressed how many projects the local governments manage to do, but the amount of money is still small, and that's also something which is going to be addressed in the new fiscal commission's allocation over the next 3 to 4 years. But even that, there's still room for rolling out additional funding system if you combine it with good accountability and performance assessment systems. So that's some of the lessons learned. Internationally also, all programs have to be looked through the lenses of incentives. Incentives for the civil servant to improve their performance, incentives for local governments as a corporate body to improve their performance, and incentives for the systems and procedures to work, because we can continue to train and train. Somebody yesterday said we can train people to death, but if they have no incentives to improve on their performance, it's also a problem. So that's where I think some of the states have already started here in India, but there's a room for further development of the performance-based approaches, both for individuals and for local governments as a corporate body. I also see now that discussion about how much should go to block grant, how much should go to sector grants, how much earmarking. That discussion is going on in all countries around the world, and it's very important to, as I said, to keep the capacity linked to the allocation. There was a question yesterday about should we make devolution before capacity, or should we first develop the capacity? And I think the conclusion from yesterday was it goes hand in hand. You need to take some, learn by doing and take some risk, but building up the capacity of local government along further funding and allocations.